Let's talk about Boolean expressions, true or false. So a Boolean value is a value that can either be true or false. There are only two values that a Boolean can have. Python defines two constants, true and false. Note that they're written with a capital letter. All names in Python are case sensitive. So true has a capital T and false has a capital F. A Boolean expression is an expression that evaluates to either true or false. We've seen a few Boolean expressions so far in the course, things like age greater than or equal to 16 for example. Boolean expressions aren't restricted to just testing numbers. We could also test a string value. Name is equal to Tim. So that's a Boolean expression that will evaluate to true if the value of name equals the string Tim. It will evaluate to false if name has any other value. Boolean expressions can be very complex. For example, you might have a condition such as if day is equal to Saturday in double quotes and temperature greater than 27 and not raining. So you can see in that example, we're checking to see whether day is equal to Saturday and whether temperature is greater than 27. And we're also using a not here. Now in this example, raining is a Boolean variable. It has the value true or false. Not is used to reverse the value. So we can use not to reverse a Boolean value. Not true is false and not false is true. Alright, so back to the code now. So let's actually create a new Python file. I'm going to call this one true false. Alright, we're going to start typing some code. Day is equal to, and in double quotes, Monday with a capital M. Line 2, temperature is equal to 30. Next line, raining is equal to true. Remember, we need to use a capital T when they're using a Boolean variable, as we've done there. Then we'll have a look at that condition. So if day is equal to, so it's two equal signs, Saturday in double quotes with a capital S, and temperature is greater than 27 and not raining, colon, print, parentheses, double quotes, go swimming. And the next line, else colon, then on the line 8 indented, print, parentheses, double quotes, and within the double quotes, learn Python. Now I didn't mention it when I created this file, truefalse.py, but be careful with the names you choose for your Python file names. You're starting to learn quite a few Python names and keywords now, so it's getting easier to avoid using them as the name of your file. Now if you'd called your file true.py with a capital T, then that wouldn't be a good idea. You might not get an error straight away, but it could cause problems eventually. So just keep that in mind and try not to use Python names and keywords. And I do suggest experimenting with different Boolean expressions to get used to how they work is a good idea. And we're obviously doing that here with the code that we saw on the slides. It's essential to attach the names to values before you use them in your Boolean expressions. If you don't attach day to a value, for example, then you'd get an error on line 5. The same for temperature and raining. Right, so let's run the program and we should see learn Python. And you can see we're seeing that down the bottom there. To make sure this is working, because we know that temperature is 30 and raining set to true, let's change the day to Saturday. Remembering I need to type it exactly how I've typed Saturday on line 5, in this case with a capital S. Run that. And in fact, we're still learning Python. Why? Well, that's because it's raining. We set raining to true on line 3. All three parts of the condition on line 5 must evaluate to true in order for the entire condition to be true. The last part of the condition on line 5 is and not raining. So raining is true, as we can see on line 3, and that means that not raining is false. So what we can do here is change the and here on line 5 to an or, and once we do that and run the program again, this time we get the output go swimming. When you're experimenting, remember which strings have to match exactly. On line 1, we've got Saturday with a capital S, which matches Saturday in the condition on line 5. If you'd spelt one of them with a lowercase s or had another typo, they wouldn't compare equal and your program wouldn't work as expected. Before I finish the video, take a closer look at line 5 in our code. Can you tell by reading that line what the true intention or what I wanted that line to do? It's ambiguous to read, so we know how Python will interpret it because the precedence of the operators is well documented, and you can find the table in the documentation in a link in the resources section of this video, but I can also bring it up on screen, which I'll do now. So there's the table. Now we discussed operator precedence for the arithmetic operators in the previous section, but Boolean or conditional operators also have precedence. And you can see the or, and, not there talking about Boolean. So we can see here that and has a higher precedence than or. Now that's why we go swimming even though it's raining. Looking back at the code again, raining is true, as you can see on line 3. So is that a bug or is that what I intended? The point of this is that that line of code doesn't really give you any indication of what I intended. Even if they aren't necessary, we should use parentheses to make it clear. So let's change the day to Friday to see what happens. Capital F there. We run the program. We can see learn Python outputted at the bottom of the screen. The condition day is equal to Saturday evaluates to false. The condition temperature greater than 27 evaluates to true, but false and true is false, as we established in previous videos. Not raining is also false, which means the code in the else block is executed. So what would happen here if we changed raining to false? Let's do that. Run the code. This time we go swimming. As I said, you don't have any indication if that's what was intended. Maybe I want to go swimming on hot Saturdays or on any other day that's not raining. So let's add some parentheses here to make it clear how this code is being interpreted. So I'm going to put a parentheses in front, left parentheses in front of day, and the other right parentheses after temperature greater than 27 over here. Now this is how the code's interpreted at the moment, because and has a higher precedence than or. So even if that's what I meant, then I should still use the parentheses. They're not needed by Python, but they make the code much easier to read. Looking at this code now, it's now clear that we'll go swimming on any day when it's not raining, as well as on hot Saturdays, whether it's raining or not. As a general rule, always use parentheses when you mix and or in the same condition. Doing it makes it clear what you intended. More importantly, it makes it less likely that you'll introduce a bug. When you use parentheses, you don't have to worry about remembering whether and has a higher or lower precedence than or. Alright, so try different values for those 3 variables and have a go at creating your own Boolean expressions. In the next video, we're going to have a quick look at some truthy values. See you in the next video.